Hello and welcome back to another exciting, I say exciting, real-time Lego Star Wars real-time build. My name is Chris. Uh, Thank you if you're tuning into my VadersNewEmpire.com hobby blog webpage. Welcome and thank you for stopping by and checking out my site. If you're seeing this on YouTube, welcome to my Vader's New Empire YouTube channel, which will be soon filled with more Star Wars real-time Lego builds that I have on another channel that I'll be transferring over. Gotta give me time on that one. If you had watched the last video, then you would have seen that I was completing my details on the bag 3 of the Ultimate Star Destroyer Executor class set 10221. And the next step for bag 4 is the two stands it sits on, the placard fort, and the top of the middle of the Star Destroyer. Luckily, I don't have to have the Star Destroyer sitting here in front of me to do this video. So I'm going to go ahead and start this. This is the two stands. There are two of them identical except for one axle that goes down through the center of it. So I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm actually going to be building two stands at once because they're both identical. And I'm going to try to zoom down in so everybody can get a better look-see of what I'm doing here. My camera and computer are doing weird things on me today. I don't think it likes the way I'm zooming in. I have my autofocus turned off because when it's autofocusing, it fluctuates, I guess would be the word. It tries to focus on what I'm doing, and unfortunately I don't want it to do that. But I'm going to start with the two stands, and then the placard comes after that, and then that middle piece, which is about this big when all said and done. It's about the size of a, I don't know, about that big. I don't know what the size of that would be, but I'm trying to compare that with something. It's pretty large though. I've got most of my pieces laid out on the table right here. I'm going to scoop this over here, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's doing it on camera, but I get this stop motion like effect going on. I'm not really sure why it's doing that, but I'm going to press on anyway. And since I'm building two of these at the same time, bear with me because I got all the parts scattered out all over the place. But I need to make sure I pay attention to what I'm doing. And I got to remember everything's doubled. So that's another trick in itself. These are the two stands for it. It stands up quite nicely on these stands. It's not wobbly at all. It does a good job holding the thing up. I do have a box over here just for real parts because they're usually the ones that will roll off the table. So that's going to be the time-consuming part of the project, is trying to gather all these up. These stands should go pretty quick. There's not much to them. And the placard itself is just a few pieces. I already got the sticker stuck on it, and it's just a couple pieces on it, hinges, and it sticks on one of these stands. So, and I never leveled my table. So if things start to roll off, that's why. I always say I'm going to level my table, but I never do. Just never think about it every time I go to make a video. Today they're cooperating a little bit with me here. So I'm sitting here trying to think of what to say while at the same time I'm building, and try not to build off camera, which I tend to do at times. And you might see my head leaning a few times, just because all the parts are way over here on the edge of my table over there. Trying to think of what to say. If you're on my hobby blog, my VadersNewEmpire.com hobby blog, I haven't had too many people give me any kind of suggestions or comments. I've had one or two comments. I've had a lot of people looking at my site. I can tell that through my analytics program. But I cannot get anybody to comment on it. The only person so far that's commented on it has been my own mother. She gave me some encouraging words, because there for a while I didn't think anybody was going to ever look at my site or ever find it. So I did eventually get quite a few people from all around the world actually start looking at my site. And I mean, I've got people from China, Russia, Germany, even some places I've never even heard of looking at my site. They haven't commented. I do have a few subscribers that if I haven't got to you personally, I'm sorry. I've been really busy. I'm trying to learn my WordPress part of email. But I try to get my message out through my blog. And if you sign up through Aweber, excuse me, on my site I have a sign-in part on the side of the actual web blog. And that's my Aweber account. And that way I can mass email people. I don't sell anybody's email or anything like that. Once you put an email address out there in the world, it's you can actually buy people's emails, which I totally disagree with. I think it's a bad business practice. If people want to see your product, they'll search it out. If I don't see the point in emailing people that you don't even know, trying to promote your product. I mean, I can understand it if you want to promote it like a forum or maybe even a newspaper, Craigslist or something like that. I have no problem with that. But when you go and buy people's emails, I think that's an invasion of privacy. And I think companies that do that shouldn't be allowed to do that. That's my thoughts on it. But I am happy to have a lot of people looking at my site from all around the world. That is really exciting. I never thought in a million years I'd have anybody even attempt to look at it. I mean, I know Star Wars are popular. I know Legos are popular. Never really thought to the extent of people actually wanting to see what I got on my site, which is, like I said, quite exciting. I try to bring relevant topics onto my site. Everything I put on there is my own personal view. I do use a couple websites and books to help me come up with the information I put on there. And I do that only so I won't get anything wrong, information-wise. I do my best at little storytelling here and there of my personal experience with Legos, why I find them so intriguing. I just like building things. My current job is journeyman wireman. I'm a union electrician. My real title is journeyman wireman. I do a lot of things. I build a lot of places. I've been on a lot of launch pads and industrial structures. Back in the day, I used to do houses and wiring for houses and things like that. But that was a very long time ago. But I just like to build. And the one thing I like to do in my trade is I very, very much like bending pipe conduit. And to be able to take something that is just a piece of pipe, bend it into various shapes and forms, and be able to put wire in it and put electricity through it is just exciting. It's a thrill for me to know that I'm building something from scratch, a raw product, and making it into a product that actually is functional. So, and that's why Legos are such an important part of my life when I'm not working. I do have family, and I do try to spend time with them, but it always comes back to my hobby. Everybody's got to have a hobby. Mine just happens to be Legos. My kids were into it for a little while, then they got out of it. You know, they got older. They got more important things to do with their lives, which is fine. They need to find themselves and find out who they are, what they want to do, and then maybe one day they'll, when I'm long gone, they'll come across my Legos and say, I remember when Dad used to do this with a website. And, you know, so they'll look back at it and say, you know, he did pretty good. I'm not really not known for my creative talents too much. I mean, I can get creative on the job, but I learned that through teachings and people and various other aspects. Oh, here we go. I don't want to break any of these pins. I'm trying to pay attention to what I'm doing while I'm talking here. While I'm trying to create everything on the screen here. I haven't looked up at my screen since I started. I tend not to do that because I always want to. The only time I look up there is really when I'm trying to see if my recording is still going, which it is, which is good. But as far as my hobby blog goes, you know, I got into it because, well, my mentor asked me, what do I like to do? Well, I like building Legos. And Star Wars being one of the only Lego products I really buy anymore. Just because I love the movies. Alright, so far so good. There's only a few steps to these stands, which is wonderful. But like I said, I'm also building two of them at the same time. But nonetheless, you know, I do what I can on my site. I try to give relevant content on my site. Try to give you any kind of information that I can come up with. Like I said, they're just personal views, though. So if you see something on there that you don't agree with, or you know it's not right, by all means, you know, drop me a line and let me know, because people do mistakes, make mistakes, and like I said, what I'm writing about is just my personal view, and if anybody corrects me on anything, that's fine. I'll change it. That's just the way I am. I'm not stubborn-headed or anything like that. I will go back and fix something that I've got wrong. Okay, I've already lost count with these. There's 24 of these total I have to get. 12 for each stand. And I'm not planning on putting these down on the ground, or they will roll off. Let's see, 3, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14. I gotta count these. Sorry. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. I'm going to have problems if there's not another one in there. Oh, 24. I got them all. Excuse me. But, you know, for the most part, you know, if you see something that you don't agree with on my site, by all means, let me know. If I'm doing a wonderful job and you really like it, let me know as well. If you got something that you want to see more of I'm doing, drop me a line, let me know. I have quite a few sections on my site that I'm trying to improve on. It's not going as quick as I would like it to have, but I'm trying my best. I'm just one person that's doing this. I'm not really too new at websites anymore. I'm not what they refer to as a newbie, but I'm still learning it. I'm still learning every day I get on that thing. Writing, I have no problem writing. I'm not Ernest Hemingway by any means. I never went to any kind of writing class, or here's how you write a book, or here's how you write better. Never went through anything like that. Just high school, you know, elementary school, middle school, high school. I did graduate high school, so I've got some bit of education behind me. Took a couple college courses, some electrical courses, you know. So I'm an educated man. I'm not one of these people that guess their way through life. But some people make do on that too, so I'm not putting anybody down. Alright, let's see, 4 of these, so there'll be 8 of them, right? Yep, there's 8. And again, I have a lot of different sections on my site. I have some actual, from actual stories, my reviews of each set, every set that I review on my site, I actually own. I'm not going to review anything that I don't own, only because I would not have any way of accurately talking about the set, if you know what I mean by that. It's not easy talking about things that you don't own. You'd have to reference everything, and pretty much you'd be making false something. It'd just be facts more than anything else, and I just don't agree with that either. I think if you're going to talk about things like this, you should have them have experienced them once or twice in your life. I mean, I can get a Lego manual, I can thumb through it, I can look at it, I can tell the interesting things about it, but without actually owning it, without actually having my hands on it, without putting it together, I wouldn't be able to give you an accurate representation of the actual set. So I don't do that. So I try to do whatever I can with the ones I do have. Alright, where am I at here now? Into those. I hope I got the right color of these. I think I do. They are gray, okay. I came across that earlier in this set. I actually had different colored pieces that I was not supposed to have. I had to change them out real quick. I can't recall exactly what those pieces were, but it took me real quick to change them out. All the pieces I have for all my sets are sitting right next to me, so getting to them real quick is not a problem. And actually, when I was sorting through this, I actually skipped like 3 steps and didn't realize it until I had a bunch of pieces left over. But getting back to my site, I do have reviews on it. I have pictures. I had the set statistics heading on my webpage there for a while. I did not put it. I redid my website is what I did. I had a bit of a problem with my set videos showing up, my real-time set videos. So I had to redo my site, and I picked a new theme and all kinds of new plugins for the theme, and so it kind of changed the overall look of my site, which I really like this time. It really makes it pop now. Before it was kind of bland and really wasn't what I wanted. But you have a set statistic part on the website itself, and I didn't quite like the way it was flowing, if you know what I mean. It was really hard to come up with the statistics on it, something you could just find if you Googled it, actual set number. You could actually pull up the statistics a lot quicker. The images I got from it were from other people's sites, I'm not going to lie about that. I mean, I could go through and take pictures of every piece and every, tell what each and every model, uh, each piece catalog number is, but it kind of takes a long time to do something like that, and I just don't have that kind of time on my hands. One day, maybe, I'll put those back into it. That was another thing that killed my last version of my site, was a plugin. They wanted me to call them back and let them know what version of WordPress I had. WordPress is what I use for my website. It's a web building tool, website building tool, platform, if you would call it that. But it destroyed my site, and I couldn't get to show any videos or any pictures up anymore, and it just went from bad to worse. Let me see that. Okay, there's 12 of these. I gotta count these out real quick. 2, 3, 7, 6, 8, 10, 12 of those. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 of those. Okay, yeah. So, in this process of redoing things, I've come up with this new look on my site that you see now, and I had to take the set statistics out. I did want to put other things into it. I want to do a minifig section, but I think I'll wait on that. I was just going to highlight all the minifigs that came with each set. Also in my hobby blog, I also mentioned possibly putting fiber optics in these sets, which I should have been doing all this time. Fiber optics cost a lot of money. Some actually have the fiber optic sets for these sets specifically, and I just they're expensive, and I just don't have the time for that right now. Now, I do talk about it quite a bit in my reviews of each set. I'd like to actually do that one day, which one day it's very possible I can do it. We use fiber optics in a lot of my work that I do at work, so it's not out of the impossible range, or not out of the possibility range, I should say. It's just not something I can do readily right this second. It would be neat to light all these up, make them look like they really do in the movies. Would be a thrill, but not necessary right now. One of these days. I do have pictures of all the sets I own. Not every single set, because I took pictures of all the manuals, and I've bought more manuals since I took all the pictures and put them on my site. So not every picture of every set I have is on there, but the ones I do have on there, you can go through and pick and choose and tell me which ones you want to see real time live. Excuse me. I'm starting to lose my voice a little bit. But so by all means, if you're on my site, you go on over to that section, excuse me, of the picture section, and look and see what I got for sets, and let me know what you would like to see as a real-time set build. None of my set builds are scripted. I say that about a billion times in these things, so everybody knows what I talk about is not pre-written. It's not something I even think about. I really don't even know what I'm going to talk about every time I hit the play button or the record button on these videos. I try not to talk about anything but Legos, but sometimes my job comes into it. Everyday life comes into it. Building these fairly quick. Trying to keep my videos down to under an hour. I'm just plugging right along with these stands. You can see these stands are pretty bulky. There's a reason why. They do get pretty big and bulky. And my camera's doing funky things on me tonight, so I'm not really sure what's up with that. But these things they hold a lot of weight. I don't know if I could actually physically stand on these things, but they do hold quite a bit, a sufficient amount of weight. The set itself weighs approximately 7 pounds. I don't have the exact number, but I believe that's what the statistic for this one said, 7 pounds. I could be wrong about that. Again, I try to get my facts straight on them, but sometimes people make mistakes. I believe it was 7.7 or 7.8 pounds, something like that. It's close to 8 pounds. It's a heavy set, and that's why you need real heavy stands like this. They look neat, and they're still fairly new pieces, so they should not be falling apart or anything like that, like I had when I built my the Imperial Walker or my Imperial Shuttle, which I have taken apart and put together several times. Okay, let's see. 8 of these. 2, 3, 4 on that side. And 2, 3, 4. I guess one of these is for the other part. Okay, and these just basically go like this all the way around. Oops. Yeah. Gotta get this right. Come on now. I do have other parts on my site. I tell a little story about when I got into Legos, when I started watching Star Wars movies. I also have a section on there about, let me see if I can remember exactly everything on my site. I'm on it quite often, I just don't. Lately it's been all about these set videos. My mentor told me, do as many videos as you can. The videos are the way of the future for blogs, so I've been trying my best to do set videos. Even though I know that people aren't going to watch them straight through, I still make them. So that shows you any kind of level of dedication towards the blog. Anything I set out to do, I try my very best to continue with it. There was a part of my life where I didn't continue on with things I started. And I kind of halfway did them and kind of failed on that, but I'm trying to change that part of my life. And this hobby blog is a good starting point for that type of mentality. Let's think of some of the other things I have on my hobby blog right off. I do plan on having an About Me section. You can look me up on aboutme.com, or yeah, I think it's aboutme.com. It just tells some basic information on you, what sites you're linked to, what kind of social media platforms you're engaged with. It's quite interesting. I even have my mentor's website on there listed. He's got several. Several. Look up David Boozer, internet marketer, and you'll find all kinds of information about the man. He's helped me out quite a bit online. He has not held my hand while I'm making my own content, but he's helped out significantly compared to if I had tried this out on my own. I probably would have never gotten as far as I did. It makes it really easy to learn. His whole thing is build, brand, and manage your business online. At first, I was, more about, well, I'm gonna make $1 million off the internet. And I told him recently that I stopped trying to make money off the internet, and I'm just sharing my passion, which is what I'm doing. I'm sharing exactly what I like to do for free. I don't charge anybody on my site. I do have a link there where you can get a service called Plego.com, which is a really good service for if you got kids, and these sets are expensive, and if you don't feel like buying them but the kids want to play with them, by all means, it's like Netflix for Legos. You know what Netflix is. You rent them for a short time, and then when they're all done with them, you send them back, and they send you another set, and they're all sanitized and washed and 100% with the instructions, and it's a really neat service. It's just a family up in New York, I believe, Brooklyn, New York, or something like that, that came up with this service, and I think they're doing a really good job with that. I promote their link on my site. It's the only thing I promote on my site, to be honest with you. I used to have Lego on there and things like that, but I find if people want to find Lego products, they're just going to type in Lego and they'll go straight to Lego.com. I do mention Lego.com quite a bit on my site, just because, I got to give praise to the people that are making my blog possible. They say if you get a certain amount of subscribers to your site, or a certain amount of followers to your site, they'll start to recognize you as a Lego superpower, I guess you could call it. More or less, just they'll recognize you more, and they start to help you out more. I have yet to get to that point in my life, which is fine. I'll make do with what I got when I'm doing. Whoa, that's not supposed to go all the way through. Okay, there we go. And then the other one like this. I hope everybody can see that. Alright, now I'm going to grab my set down, and I'm going to actually put this set onto here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom out. If my camera will cooperate with me. Computer is extremely old. 6 years old. I call that extremely old. The computer is pretty old. Even though most old things nowadays are usually the ones that last the longest, that were built better back in the day. Nowadays they're meant to be almost, what would be the word, disposable at this point in time. Alright, Darth Vader's got to go. You got to go, Darth. Alright, I'm going to flip this over. Hopefully nothing devastating happens here. Alright, this one with the black. Yeah, this is the underneath of this behemoth. This. And I hope this works out for me, because it's not easy. It actually does stick into it. Give me a second now. Okay, it does actually clamp down on the little studs. There it goes. I don't like pushing very hard on a set that's upside down. There's my phone. Someone just texted me. Let's see. And then this back one here is the same thing. I gotta plug it into where it goes. Same direction. There we go. It snaps right on down into it, hopefully. There it goes. I'm trying not to be forceful with it. I don't want to break anything. Especially this part.
It's not cooperating like it should. Sorry, I'm kind of pulling it off camera here, but it just doesn't want to snap into place. I'm not sure exactly why, but it's a big set, you know. There it goes. I don't know if you heard it snap, but there it goes. Alright, now you can see it stands, and it actually holds up this model quite a distance off the table. I can put my arm under it now, which is wonderful. It really makes this thing pop when it's on the stands. And now that I've done that, I should have built the placard first, but that's not a problem. Let's see, two of these go. Let's see, make sure I get this right. I'm sorry if I'm building that off camera. Maybe it'd be better if I did that one. Let's see, there's 4, 5, 4, 5. There we go. There should be 3 in the note. Yeah, 3 now. Alright, that's that. That's where these two come into play. Okay. I was wondering when these were going to pop into play. That's what they're for. Little hinge parts. Oh, that's where that came from. That's where it goes across like this, right? Yeah. And then this goes up. And all sits on there. And how does that sit in there? Whoa. Easy. It sits right back in there. Yeah, I know you can't see it, but I'll show what it does. It sits right in there. It's really nice. It shows it very well. Alright, that's the stand for it. The next section is the top part. And this top part does sit right down in here. And the model's getting gigantic. Absolutely gigantic. And it's getting heavier by the minute. I can see some of my studs did not sink in down here at the bottom. And this would be really saddening if I snapped a piece or two right now trying to stick that in. I will hold off on that. But this model, I got it off screen up on my shelf. There we go. I can actually, whoa, about took out the other Star Destroyer I have on my shelf here. I can actually see all the pieces are actually stuck in there pretty well. Okay, I need to get a drink real quick. Drink Arizona green tea. That's about the only thing I drink. That and milk. Really try to cover my microphone before I cough. Alright, I'm getting into it. I will try to zoom down to a level where you can see it again. Hopefully my camera, I think I'll just go slow so my camera doesn't do funky things. Yeah, it's still going to be a little jumpy. I'm not 100% sure why it does that. Let's see if you can see the pieces. Yeah, it's a little jumpy. I'm not really 100% sure why. I'm going to try to zoom it way down. The camera's being a little strange on me. That's zoomed down as far as I can get it. And that should give you a, oh, hopefully it doesn't do that all the way through. I don't know if it's going to do that on playback. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I think it's having a hard time really seeing what I'm doing here. And maybe it's trying to focus without an autofocus. I don't really know. Alright. We'll get it right on into the build. I'm just going to go piece by piece. Hopefully it doesn't do that anymore. I see what it's doing on screen. It's like stop motion, some kind of jerky motion on the screen. Hopefully it doesn't keep doing that. I did try to restart my computer because I noticed it was doing it beforehand, and I really didn't want it to do that all the way through. But I think it's going to, and I'm not sure why. That's why there's a new computer in my future. I don't want to break the bank, but at the same time, I need a decent computer to do my set videos on, blog on. Alright, two of these. Now I got pieces scattered all over the table here. Hopefully the video decides to cooperate with me here. Nothing worse than, I know these videos aren't top level, top notch, just the cream of the crop, but it's all I got right now, and I'm trying my best on it. And all you can do is try your best, right? I don't give up. I don't give up that easily. I'll just say that. And if I have had technical glitches like that, well, oh well. It happens. At least it isn't cutting out like my old computer webcam had quite frequently had done to me several times. It would do all kinds of things to me. Very frustrating. The audio and the video wouldn't sync. But let me get back to my site. I was trying to think of some of the other things on my website, because I took things off and replaced them with other things. I do have a blog, on my site. I know it's a hobby blog, but I never had a blog role, I guess you could call it, on my site. I never really told stories. It was more reviews and pictures and videos and things like that. But I do have a blog on there now where you can actually read what I'm putting out, anything I got to say on different subjects or anything like that. I have a section in there with Star Wars Lego video, actual commercials from Lego itself, or ones that people have made from just whoever, whatever. One of them shows sets of certain years and has a nice little catchy tune in there, and just something to show off sets I wish I had. I do have in my picture section, I do have some that my friend Steve took from a convention, Star Wars convention here in Orlando, and they're like big models of what you can get, that you'd buy, but they make their own creation out of it, and they make their own scale model out of things. I wish I had the Legos for that. I have the ability to think like that, but the ability to build something that size just would take a phenomenal amount of Legos. And I don't think I have accumulated that many Star Wars Legos to do something that size. But those pictures are in there, and they got life-size pictures of Boba Fett. And, I think Darth Vader's there. I might have some other pictures of other things in there. So far, so good. I think my video is kind of cooperating with me. And again, I'm not looking at my screen. Kind of don't want to. I'm afraid it's going to be jerky, and I don't want to get saddened by my video quality. I'll just have to see what it looks like on playback. Hopefully it's not doing it on playback when I do play it back. I upload all these videos to YouTube. I don't use Vimeo or any other platform. I'm familiar with YouTube, and I'll stick with something I'm familiar with. Let's see, am I going off camera? Hopefully not. And occasionally I'll pick it up to you and I'll show you what I'm doing exactly. Let's do 4 of those. 2 of these, 6 of those, which is all that plus over there. And 2 of these. And I went through and checked off everything to make sure I have everything in the set when I was actually pulling all the pieces out. And for the most part, bag 4, I think I got all the pieces right. There's nothing worse than going to a set video and finding out you've got missing pieces in there. Oh, it's getting dark in Florida. We did just have the time change. And so it actually feels later than it should. Summertime is coming back. I love summertime. See, I get this right? Yeah, I'm getting it right. Good deal. Like I said, when I'm all said and done, I'll do things like this. I'll show you the details of it, what I'm doing. My camera wants to be weird on me. It's part of what I have to deal with, I guess. Patience. I talked about patience in my last video. And this is definitely one of those things. The rest of these. Those. And of course, I forgot where I'm at. Let's see. 4 of these, which I got. 4 of those. I just hope in the playback it doesn't do what I'm seeing on screen. I hope it doesn't do what in the playback, which I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 of those. And then I keep looking over on other steps. Alright, there's 8 of these. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these. I'm going to keep these separate. And then there's 12 of these. Oh my goodness. There's a lot of these in this set. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They're the little small pieces that look like this, with a flat part underneath it. I don't really know what they're called. Excuse me. But they're pretty interesting parts of this set. Now, if you watch the last video, you'll go, boy, that looks familiar, because we're about to go through it again. Seems to be the going thing on this. There's 2 of these, so I don't know exactly how many I need down here. Alright. I'll show you the close-up of these. You've already seen what we actually built in the last. If you watch the last video, you've seen them built like this already. There's a lot that's going on in this model. It must have been like probably the most used step in the whole model there. I'm going to just go ahead and build one and build the other one next, instead of trying to build at the same time, which can get a little confusing at times. Alright, there's one that doesn't go on there. I didn't know. It's alright though. I had good intentions. So it's not exactly the same. Alright. Alright, this goes. Oh boy. Goes there. This goes there. Yeah, they're a little crooked when I put them on, huh? Yeah, I'll straighten them out. I always do. I try to at least. Yeah, my fingernails are long, only because I keep them long for work, so I don't get the ends of my fingers smashed, and it helps for set videos in case I need to pull something apart really super quick, and I don't have any kind of knife with me or anything like that to do it. I'll use my fingernails. Plus, if there's children watching, I don't want them to think they can just pop out a knife and start prying pieces apart. That's a good way to get hurt real quick. So, anytime you use Legos, try not to use a knife to pop them apart. Find something else, because it's not safe. It's not safe in anything you do in the world. Try not to use a knife to pry things apart with. You will get hurt. Alright. In my trade, we're all about safety. Safety is our #1 priority. Because without it, people get hurt. No one wants to get hurt. I feel another cough coming on. Give me a second. Excuse me. That time I had to pull my microphone clear far from my face. Trying not to cough into the microphone. It's just not very cool. I'm trying to think of some of the other things on my website. Right now, off the top of my head, I'm having a hard time trying to think of what is in there. Okay, let me get this straight first. That goes down on that. Put this around. Stick this down in there. There we go. You can see it's getting quite busy here. I figured I'd just hold it up to the camera, that way it shows the detail of it, and it's still jerky all over the place. I'm not sure why it's doing that. I guess eventually I'll find out on the playback. Right, 2, 4, 6, 8 of those. Fur balls all over the place from the cat being up here. 1 of those, 2 of these. 1 of those, 2 of those, 2 of these. 2 of these. Wow, there's only 2? Okay, but there are 8 of these. 2, 4, 6, 8 of those. The rest of them, everything in here is the same thing I'm pulling out right now, which eventually will be on top of all this. Okay, might as well start with these. Actually, I'll start with these. Work one way back. This is probably the only way to do this model without getting lost. Especially the amount of detail and everything. And boy, they made a lot of detailed parts in here.